Hello all, this is Mr. Trudy here. This video will be about declining a first declension noun. Here we have porta, portae, which means gate. For the dictionary entry of any noun, you will have three parts. The first is your nominative singular form. The second is your genitive singular form. Remember, your genitive singular form gives you both the declension, based on your genitive singular ending, and the stem of whatever noun you have. The third part is the gender. For the first declension, most nouns have the feminine gender, although a few have the masculine. Coming down to our case forms here, we can enter our nominative singular form, simply our first principal part. For our genitive singular form, we have both the declension that it is, so AE means that we have a first declension, and we take this AE off to get the stem of a noun, which for porta, portae will be port. Once we have the stem of a noun, we can go to the rest of our case forms and copy and paste our stem in there. Your stem will be the same stem for the same noun for all of your forms. Once we have done that, we can go back and add our first declension endings. We already have our genitive singular first declension ending, which is AE. For the dative singular, it is also AE, so we can add AE onto our stem when we get portae. For the accusative singular, we add an AM onto our stem, and we get the form portam. Remember, for a masculine and feminine noun, your accusative singular will always end in an M. And then for the ablative singular of a first declension, we have a long A. Remember, the macron is important for this form. It helps us tell the difference between your ablative singular form and your nominative singular form. So make sure you add that macron there. Moving down to our plural forms. For your nominative plural, we have AE, so we get the form portae. For our genitive plural, we add aurum onto our stem, so we have portarum. And then for our dative plural, we add is onto our stem, so we get portis. For our accusative plural, we add as for a first declension, so we have portas. Remember, for a masculine and feminine noun, your accusative plural will always end in that S. And then for our ablative plural, once again we add is. In the plural, for any declension, your ablative and dative forms will always look alike. So now we have our Latin forms. We have porta, portae, portae, portam, porta, portae, portarum, portis, portas, and portis. Now we can come over to the English meaning here. Remember, for the English, we can add either the indefinite article a or the definite article the. Since Latin has no article, we need to supply one. I will supply the and not a for the sake of simplification. So for your nominative singular translation of porta, we have the gate. For the genitive singular, for our genitive preposition in English, we use of, so we have of the gate. We could also use an apostrophe, so the gates whatever. For our dative singular, we want to use the prepositions to or for. So we have to or for the gate. For our accusative singular, we do not use a preposition, so we say the gate in English. And then for the ablative case is our prepositional case, so we can have any number of prepositions here. To start off with, some good translations to learn would be in, from, and with the gate. Moving down to our plural, we keep the same prepositions or lack of prepositions we have in the singular, and simply change the English form to the plural. So we have the gates for portae. We have of the gates for the genitive plural, or the gateses, whatever. For our dative plural, we have to or for the gates. For our accusative plural, portas, we have the gates. And then for our ablative plural, portis, we have in, from, or with the gates.